It'll send an update saying that we've
But we're
gone
here
live
now.
early. Yes, we're here now.
Or we're talking to our computer screen.
Yes.
Well, we are talking to our computer
Oh,
screen.
we can also see how many are from each.
Oh, okay. So more technical stuff we just discovered. Wonderful. All right. So tonight's theme, and I'll get into it in a moment, is horror stories. Now we've shared bits and tidbits of horror stories in the past, but I've been kind of bugged to do like a show on particular horror stories. I'm not talking about the creepy stuff that happens. I'm not talking about being scared. I'm talking about like investigations that go south for one way, shape, or form. And yeah, well, five people. Hey, woo! 5 people. Don't type in where you're from or who you are. It's probably Philip is on there. Brandon's on there. Mike Arturi's on there.
I've already done 4.
Yeah, it's all we're down to 4. Somebody's already left. They hate the show. So
3.
tonight, oh geez, look what you've done to it.
Sorry.
So basically, the theme for tonight, I mean, a lot of investigations could be a disappointment. Hey Dan, a lot of ones could be a disappointment. Like you have a really really big shine on to get there, and then it sucks, right? That's not really a horror story. That sort of happens, right? So before I get into any of that shit, though, I want to come to 2 topics. One of which is that we've got to put some more focus onto we're getting busier, and we've got to put some focus onto the investigation. Obviously, you started a new job, which is a little further away. Kind of like your first professional job, and out of university. So, we're going to go down to a monthly format. We'll just have better topic matter. We're going to still keep it going. I was going to kind of duff it, frankly. But a few people have convinced me that maybe we should keep a place marker out there and keep it going. So once a month we're going to do this. Frankly, I think one of the major issues that come to combat with that is the saturation of this market. Like I don't know if it's the hip thing to do right now, but podcasts are very out there. Everybody's doing them, and what I'm seeing is whether it's a chain reaction, everybody's kind of doing the same topic. Anybody that I want to interview is filming right now. So it's kind of a thing like I want to do some interviews. I want to do some this, some of that. But it's not happening at this time. So we're going to take it. We're going to switch our focus to a monthly. Second, I received some feedback that I am attempting to dictate the rules of paranormal investigation. First off, I am a nobody. So I can't dictate squat to anybody. If people are feeling that way, I'm sorry. If I could be a little surreptitious in the way that I talk about things, it's an opinion. Look, I mean, part of what we do is we challenge and should challenge theories. We should challenge methodologies, and we should challenge intentions. So I do that, and that's just the way it goes. But like, feel free, like if you want to put 13 Ouija boards on the ground, if that's what is getting you results and making your team happy, as long as you're not giving the client a false impression of what's happening.
That's the most important part.
Or scaring them.
Is we're not trying to scare the client, we're trying to ease their concerns.
Right.
And secondly, we're allowed to have opinions about the spirit box and Ouija boards. Like, if other people want to use it in their investigations, that's fine, but we're allowed to think that they're shit.
A lot of people think that we're lame and we're boring, and that's fine. Research isn't really the most exciting thing in the world unless you get, empirical results. In which case we have evidences that we've gotten, but I would never call what we have proof. And I don't make claims that we're better than any other team. So that's one thing. And what, people still screw up. People listen. Like, I tell you what, yesterday, Sandy and I were going through like 5,000 feet of cable because it had all been put away wrong and whatever. And I discovered now, after 15 years of using a DVR, I'd never really thought too much about the amount of interference that gets created by DVR cable still on the reel. Because we had plugged it in to test it, because we tested all of our cameras too. I'm like, wow, that picture is shit. And then we unreeled the whole reel because we had to do it. We tested it again, and it was fine. And we realized it's because you had 300 feet of cable all in the same reel. It's like having 100 antennas stuck together. It created interference. So, and then it wasn't like I wouldn't understand the theory, but I just never gave it a thought.
Yeah.
And we've had it on investigations before where we're like, oh, that camera is just shit, But maybe we should have actually looked at the reel, but there's so much left. So we had another thing to think about. And then here, after 17 years, 27 years of investigating, I've decided this next investigation, we're going to change the way we do. Hey, Jen, we're going to change the way we do our EVP sessions. I tend to have always stood by the old static, right? Somebody called it the canned EVP session. You do your standard questions. We kind of have it in three methods. Our audio runs at all times, but we would have EVP audio running during a sentinel period, so where it's quiet. That's generally after we've been there for a little bit, kind of stir up the box, shall we say, and then just leave it, and we'll go have like coffee. We had results in that. And then, we also run the audio when we're just kind of shooting the shit, chewing the fat about nothing.
That's typically when we get the
when we get the most, right? And then we have the canned investigation where we sit there. Totally, John. It's the way it is. So you know what? I'm going to can the canned investigation after 17 years as a team.
It's going to be weird.
It is going to be weird.
And honestly, before I was even a part of the team, watching videos, doing guest investigations as a teenager, like that was always our line of questioning. Yeah. And so it's going to be weird doing something else.
Well, I think for me, I'm kind of OCD. I've been in management for 28 years, and you kind of like have to ask the appropriate questions. Right. And it was the way for me to make sure that all the questions got asked. Yeah. But if I wasn't getting answers from it, then what's the point of doing it?
Yeah.
So we're basically we're doing an investigation at the Loignau jail. If I pronounce that wrong, I'm sorry. In Loignau, Ontario, oldest jail in Ontario. We're going to be there in July, and now I'm going to have basically my info card on what's going on there, and we're just going to kind of sit around, put our instruments in front of us, and have a casual hey, did you know? It's going to maybe sound as fake as shit. I don't know how it's going to sound, but I imagine it might have better results.
Will. I think sometimes when we do our line of questioning, it sounds like we're police, but our line of questioning, I feel like sometimes it is forced.
It's a V8, not beer. Go on.
It's okay. You're an adult. You can drink with your own mind. Anyway, it does sometimes feel forced because we always ask the same questions. Do you know you're here? Do you know you passed on? What is your name? What? Yeah, well, exactly. Sometimes it does get exhausting because you've asked the same questions.
And I know in the last couple of years, I've moved a little more towards empathetic questions, about their feelings and about, seeing each other.
Seeing things that might, trigger a response, bringing up family, bringing up, living in the house for so long kind of thing. If that
emotions.
Yeah.
And I know that I've also moved a lot towards the way CPRI does things where, I don't bring all my toys, shall we say, to the game. I bring what is appropriate for the investigation.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Well, you don't need to bring a bunch of equipment that's going
to be when we're at the jail, I'm not bringing Boo Bear.
I don't blame you.
I don't want my teddy bear getting humped. So, anyway, my biggest statement of that is I'm not telling teams what, to do or what you can't do. It's just an opinion. There are definitely teams out there, I think, that are doing things. Okay, I can't wrong. All right, I think.
But they're not doing things wrong. They're doing things against what we would think is a good way to. I
still think that's wrong. Okay, making money on it.
Okay, yeah. That's
charging clients, wrong. Okay, making a business out of it is definitely wrong. Making bullshit claims, definitely wrong. Setting things up, definitely wrong.
But what I mean by
okay, if they're using a psychic.
Right.
I don't, but I have a predilection against that. Right? I came from that background, so I'm a little more.
You're biased.
Yeah, I'm kind of I'm biased. So I don't want to play that game. I want to play a research game. Charging clients is definitely a disgusting habit. Look, okay, and to put it out there, I have had a client slip an envelope in our backpack that we discovered at home. I contacted them and they're like, you know what, we helped you, we wanted to help you with your gas or your costs. Okay. Anonymous donation, whatever. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is that or the sneaky way, we're getting a totally different topic now.
It's okay.
A sneaky way of soliciting for donations, like putting on your website. We don't charge for our services, but we are more than, happy if you wish to donate to our expensive cause. That, don't do me sneaky shit, passive aggressive about that. That's stupid too. Okay, so that's all been said. That's all been done.
We're just doing housekeeping.
We're only 10 minutes into the show. It's fantastic. So now we're going to talk about the horror story. Oh, did you ruin my show?
Your show, Dave and Fiona Gibb. First of all, it's my show too. Our Wikipedia page is not published because Wikipedia is upset because I'm referencing other pages, like other paranormal teams that have Wikipedia pages. So they're upset about that. So I need to go in and thoroughly edit it and make it so that Wikipedia is not upset. However, if you go to our Facebook page, you can still click the draft and you can scroll to the bottom and still view the page.
She wrote all that.
Yes, I did it all myself. It's just not open source. Like you can't search on Google our team. It'll bring up our Chaps page, but it won't bring up our Wikipedia page. But on our Chaps page, Facebook page, it's on there. You can scroll to the bottom and read it if you want.
Well, like I said, I didn't tell her what to put on there. So when she does say that the greatest investigator in the country of Canada is me,
that's exactly what I wrote.
That's, then it's just coming from her. And I don't blame her. So anyway, going into investigative nightmares, right? And some of these are commercial. Some of these are personal. They're all remain nameless. Some of them might be obvious. It is what it is. It's not really a matter of cases that were like claims. Well, sometimes they are. There are some places that we've gone to, and I'm sure, like, we're full of investigators where we've gone and the claims are fantastic, phantasmagorical. Oh my God, you are literally going to get stabbed by spirit tonight.
Oh, I hope so.
And then you end up falling asleep at 25 minutes into the investigation. Shit happens, right?
You know what? I was reading that on investigations when I was preparing the Wikipedia page. It was a jail or something, a big commercial investigation.
You're not about to out something here, are you?
No.
I don't want to get sued.
No. I'm not going to say it, but if somewhere on there and, your summary of the case was, was told, a plethora of claims, and by the end of the night, there's nothing.
Well, there's maybe 3 places that lived up to the claims. So that's that. All right, so we're going to start off look, this might not be the most exciting show either, okay, because I can't show you pictures. The toy throwing house. So we did this investigation. We're going to say it was in Middle Ontario. It's not Game of Thrones or shit like that. There's no kingdoms there. It's Middle Ontario. Like we're up around Orangeville, I guess we'll say. A little further away. But, so we're in this house. And it was ironically the dad, I say the dad because I'm a father, but the husband that called us in. That's a very odd thing for the husband to call us in, frankly. So we're in there, we're doing the investigation. He wants us to spend overnight. Like he's got it's kind of weird because he's got sleeping bags set out for us and all kinds of stuff. Whatever. He wants maybe set up a camera and watch us sleep. So we're doing the investigation and we're taking a break. And all of a sudden I hear this car screeching into the driveway and the front door slam. And his wife comes in, and he's a big guy. He's like world's strongest man big, right? He's big. But his wife is 7 or 8 inches taller than he is and even more muscular. Very, very, very terrifying. That thing like Little Mermaid. What was the hag that came out of the sea?
Ursula?
Don't know. I don't watch kids' movies. Anyway, so she comes in the house and starts throwing shit off the shelves. Like she's grabbing the kids. Kids are still awake. And just winging toys across, smashing off of walls, cracks a window, tears down a drape, just going ballistic.
911?
That we are there. And the guy is saying, no, just stay. Don't worry. I'll calm her down. I'm going to want to fucking stay in a house right now where she hates us. And we're in an area where people have rifles. So we're going to get shot, right? Or stuck with something, right? Like morphine. Nuts, screaming. She's red, bloody murder in the face that we're there hollering at her husband. And he's like, no, stay. So here we are running around the house because back then, of course, as a younger team, you want to use all of your equipment. So we got DVR wires all over the fucking house. So we're running cable. And back then we didn't even have rollers, didn't have carriages for our cables. So we're like wrapping our hands really, really quick, running around the house, stuffing it all into bags. And of course, we get out, it's a snowstorm. There's like 3 feet of snow out there. Luckily speaking, we decide I was going to drive all the way back to Oshawa, which is about 3.5-hour drive. Shan decides we're going to stay at a hotel. So I think there were 5 of us, and we packed into this 1-bed hotel room, and all ended up sleeping on the floor. Well, actually, I slept on the bed. I don't know how that worked out. I got the bed, and everybody else got the floor, including the one that paid for the room. Shan paid for the room, and she got the floor. So that was a simple one. It does happen. I know that one of the horror stories I don't think I put on here was I tried to ask Sandy where this one was, but we were unpacking our gear, bringing it into the house, and like a scene from Stranger Things or Joe Dirt, hubby shows up in like a 1979 Firebird. Sorry, it was right out of an 80s movie. And he comes out because he's got the mullet, right? Which, if you can rock a mullet, you're great, right? So are your fucking ghost friends here? As we're unloading. Jesus. So I don't even think that one made an investigative record. I think we just literally walked our shit back and put it in our trunk and drove away. I'm trying to remember where that was, because I think we actually drove like an hour and a half to get there and literally didn't even get our kit into the house. Yeah. It was the shortest investigation ever. Probably, so I wasn't going to bring it up, but I did. Oh, the see-through shorts house. Right. So we're doing another house. This is ironically in the same town as the house I just spoke about. So 3 hours away. If Shannon's watching, she's going to have a good laugh at this because it was something else. Besides the fact that particular night we ate KFC before we got there. And we actually had a guest investigator who was a comedian. So we had really, 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 it's not the horror part. We had really, really, really bad gas. I mean, like all of us had torrential Taco Bell like gas. If you watch the video, you'll see.
You kept all your parts on video?
Yes, absolutely. So we look up, we're down in the basement. You know the old school basement where you lift up the hatch? Like, first off, that's not a smart place to be. No. Because, like Silence of the Lambs, where did he hide everybody? In the basement, but not just the basement, in that kind of basement. The kind of basement you could put a carpet over the door. So we're already stupid. So we're down in that basement. And we look up stairs. This isn't a horror like we're getting yelled at. So the guy that's hosting us looks like the professor from Back to the Future. You know? He's got like AstroTurf on his head. And his glasses are very thick. Like, look, we have modern glasses now. We don't need that. And he's got a fucking freezy in his mouth. And I'm looking up the stairs. I can see Shannon now just buying in and watching this because it was something else. And he's wearing boxer shorts, like lime yellow boxer shorts that are see-through.
Sexy.
Right? But they're loose boxer shorts. So not only can you see through for the profile, you can see up into the non-underwear wearing gentleman who is now having, wait, this gets better, who is now eating like a Lick'em Stickum or something, like a frozen poppy. And it's dripping down the front of him onto his boxer shorts. So now his see-through, see-up, luminescent boxer shorts are now covered in drippies from this popsicle. And for some ungodly reason, I can't stop looking up the stairs. I'm like, because he's just staring down watching the investigation, and that just happens to be where I'm positioned at that point in time. So you're talking away to spirit, and
What flavor, Dan?
getting that it was really awkward and weird.
I would have kept staring too. I'm not
I kept looking.
like,
You know what I mean? Like maybe I wanted to go on a date. I don't know, but it was pretty freaky. It was whoa. All right, next. The pizza box house. Shannon was also on this investigation. I wish she was on this one. So we get an investigation. It's okay. I'm going to say the south end of Oshawa. All right.
Sorry.
What are you saying? So we had an investigation south end of Oshawa, in an older part of town. Gee, that brings up another one. Damn it! Much more of these I should have read down. I am going to bring that. I got to write that down, or I'm going to forget it. Hold on a second here. We're going to call that throw up house. Throw up house. Okay. By the way, my notes are much cleaner tonight.
I saw. Very proud
much
of you.
more organized. So we had this house where we the pizza box house. So we get this investigation. He's a rock guy. He plays in a band.
Okay.
So we get into the house. They've left for the night, which is good. So we had the house to ourselves.
So yeah.
There must have been 70 ashtrays in this house, completely covered with Mount Ash. There was no less than 500 beer bottles. Like there literally was nowhere we could actually put a piece of equipment down. Pizza boxes stacked up, old chicken wings everywhere, and they had like shag carpet, which just absorbs all the goodness from that stuff. Scratch my face. So that was gross. Ironically, we didn't get any investigation done that night. Like we investigated, but like I think we were out of there in 20 minutes. It was just pointless. No, it was like what I think to myself. Look, I'm a guy. Maybe our house can get messy, but I can tell you if I've got a team coming into my house, I might
clean up.
Tidy up a bit. Now throw up house. We had a real estate agent call us in this house. It was vacant, still had furniture in it. Wanted to know why it hadn't been sold yet. What's wrong?
Okay.
Can I talk again?
Yeah, no, you're fine. It was
Okay.
just saying the connection was.
So we're in this house, and it's got like, the really bad 1950s furniture. Like it's not selling. First off, yeah, like everything's orange and somewhat ornate, but not like really antique looking.
It's burnt orange.
Yeah,
not just
that's
orange.
cigarette burnt orange. And the shag carpets in the basement, the foundation was leaking into the basement drain. Like this is why your house isn't selling. The lady had died in that house.
Oh.
All right, in the bed. The bed was still there. It still had like the bedding on it that she died on. Okay, now like she choked. She had burbulopathy or whatever, where you're choking on all your stuff. So we had to, because I'm an investigator, brought out the blue light, right? We brought out, there was still her body fluids from all of her barfing on the floor and on the bed.
Yeah.
It glowed and the house smelled like vomit. So guys, this is why your house isn't selling.
You have dead
This
bodies.
is a sales rep too. I had to bring that one.
That's the best emoji ever did.
The Tang, Silence of the Lambs home. You know who you are. Really, really cool Wurlitzer collection. Had like 11 or 12 jukeboxes in the house, pristine condition, and probably 30 to 40,000 vinyl records.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, like we had that much room to move. So the person answers the door with a wig, like a Denver Nuggets jersey, silk shorts, and Crocs. So already I'm thinking, pick a style, all right? Like to either do the silk shorts with like a halter top or something like that. You're yawning.
I'm always yawning.
Maybe I'd get you to tell a story. So we're there, and in the middle of our investigation, we get Pepperidge Farm cake, and which is like just white trash cake, right? Like it's like I don't know why it was ever considered cake. It's not really cake. And Tang, like Freshie or whatever. Nobody was Tang. I know that Shannon. So we're all sitting in the living room with the client, Shannon, who's overtly honest, goes, "No, I'm not going to eat that." Like right out, because that we're being poisoned.
Oh, definitely.
To be hidden somewhere in his house. It was it was just interesting, right? Let's have a look. Oh, Dan will remember this one because this goes back almost 20 years. This was our very first client investigation.
Really?
Let me set the mood for you.
Okay.
First off, it was in Pembroke.
Okay.
So right off the bat. Second, they decided they're going to have a couple friends over and jam, have a couple bongs, whatever. Marijuana is legal. It wasn't at that time. Marijuana is legal. Do what you're going to do. Maybe not during an investigation. But they decided they wanted to jam, which was okay because they wanted us to investigate their basement.
Okay.
This was our first client investigation. So me being, we were all like, okay, well, let's do it. Right? Even though it was going to be worthless. So it was a dark basement. Dan was downstairs. I was downstairs. Shanna was on this one. Like
she was apparently a nurse.
She was a nurse. Holy good God. But she was a nurse at the Pembroke Hospital.
Oh, okay.
So, who, by the way, no, I guess I'll say my grandson went to the Pembroke Hospital the other night with bowel issues. Too, right? This is just a Pembroke story. It's a Pembroke horror story.
So, right.
Nothing to do with investigation.
Yeah.
So he went there and had bowel issues. He couldn't poop. All right.
I think we all got that.
So they sent him upstairs to be tested for cystic fibrosis. Put that together. All right. So we're at this house, and Dan comes to me and goes, "Dave, I'm feeling kind of sick. I don't feel very well." So I'm like, "Okay, we'll go get some air or whatever. Go to the stairs." And the floor is crunchy. I'm thinking it's a basement. It's a lot of crap around. Oh yeah. So we turned on the lights, and the people in that home were using the basement, and I'm saying the basement, as a kitty litter box. Like they would take bags of kitty litter and just shake it all over the floor. So there was literally like, hey, Flavio, hundreds and hundreds of pieces of shit. And what Dan was getting sick on was cat pee. Yeah. The ammonia. Do you want to go home?
No.
I'm glad you didn't. By the way, she had movies booked for tonight. She forgot about the show. So obviously,
I canceled them to come here. Why are you outing me?
And I'm glad that you didn't go to the movies because you'd have fallen asleep. So yeah, so we were walking around on crunchy dog shit. So at that point in time, obviously, I went upstairs and told the clients, like, we're going to pack up because that's disgusting. I wish that was the only time. But it's not. Oh, that's because there's the next time. The Trenton Mattress Pee-Pee House. Okay. Sandy and I get this like, oh my God, I need help. I cannot wait. Luckily, it was a Friday. So we bolted to Trenton. So it's an hour and a half from here to the, I think it was a military home, to be honest with you, but it doesn't matter. I'm not saying it's anything to do with military. We get there. She has about 100 cats and rabbits. Okay. House is pungent. I mean, like, step in there, right? Every couple minutes, go outside for a breath of fresh air, but it's obvious that there's something not going on right with who's there, and we want to help. And we had driven an hour and a half to do it. So Sandy's got her shirt up around her face. Where we were doing face masks before it was cool during the pandemic, people. So
They wore plague masks during the plague.
So they were cool before we were cool.
And they wore masks during the Spanish flu.
And they're okay. And plague masks were actually cool.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, like the hornbill and right. So you ruined my argument. Anyway,
sorry.
so we're going through there. One of the things I noticed is that there's no kitty litter baskets, but there's like 100 cats, right? So we're working our way. Generally speaking, I have a method. I work from basement up or top down, right, depending on the claims. I'm just OCD like that.
They're once supposed to do.
So we got to the top level of this house, which the pungency was like, you know, like you test a wine, you know, you swirl it around, you waft it in. It was pretty bad. We opened one of the doors and there were like 3 or 4 mattresses on the floor. So what these mattresses were used for were kind of like huge pee maxi pads. She had trained the animals, a little door in the door, to go into this room and urinate on the mattresses.
Awesome.
So that it would get soaked up and she wouldn't have to scoop litter.
Why are people so lazy?
I'm assuming she took a broom and swept off the poopy, but
left all the piss.
but left all the pee-pee. That was 100% the most foul smell I've ever come across. I don't know how she lived that way. Her lungs must have burned little holes in them.
Probably.
Okay. Oh, yes, the Weston. Oh, I gave out where it was. Well, there's more than 30 people that live in Weston, Ontario. So it was the Weston cover-up house. Look, I've nothing wrong with the client. The client was fine, okay? The client, his wife was fine. Obviously, they were of a culture where lady can't show her face. Not the problem. What the problem was that the son, who didn't live at the home, well, these dog turds are soft.
Soft and squishy.
Soft and squishy. I have a dog. It's not so bad in the morning time out in the yard.
You stop right in it. You're like,
I'll munch that right down. I'll pick it up. I'm going to push it into the grass.
fertilizer.
So we got called in by the son. It was an emergency. We needed to be there. And we drove to Weston. That was City's first investigation that night. So first exposure to an investigation, we get there. Global News is there. We're like, okay, that's sort of weird. Global News is here. And a very, very stunned homeowner on the front who is like, I don't know. I have a black lab. So he has
chocolate lab.
Big turds, chocolate lab. We understand. Bigger dog poopy. The son set it up, but didn't tell the dad. Yeah. The son also called the news. Yeah. So Global was there. We were there. We're like, hi, we're here to investigate your home. His English was quite broken. And his house was up for sale. Right? So he's like concerned that this is going to affect the conditions of the sale because it conditionally had been sold. Now it's going to be on the fucking news that his house is haunted. So I say, okay, look, I can put my stuff back in my car. This isn't fair to you. He says, no, you came all this. He was very polite. He's like, you came all this way. You should do what you came to do. So we did do it. His wife was lying on the couch with a blanket over her head. And we weren't to go so far.
Right.
The house was pretty much moved out. There was no claims. We did the investigation. I think we unpacked, did everything, and packed, and we're in the car in a half an hour. It was unreal. And then I called the son, and he's like, hey, man, I don't know what you're so upset about. I just wanted an investigation. So really, that was just that waste of time. Didn't like him very much. He was a jerk. I'm going through these awful fast. That's good, isn't it? Oh, 35 minutes. Oh, yes, the East York. There's lots of people that live in East York. The East York Porn House. You won't see this investigation on video. We had to remove this investigation by court order or by a lawyer anyway that contacted us. That's what makes this a real case. We were called in because kids were threatening to kill themselves and shit, and we're being all goth. And of course, we went to the house, and the two mothers lived together, and they were very goth, and they had little witching dolls all over the house, right? That was also strange. And they were talking about how druids followed them to the park at night when they went down to do their incantations. By the way, they're wondering why their daughters are all goth right now, acting this way, but their mothers are going to do incantations at the park at night, and these druids with red masks and are following them. Very, very, very strange. So we do this house, mold going down the walls. There's one brother that won't leave his bedroom or get out of his bed, and he's making like a weird beaker noise. I don't know if you remember Beaker from the Muppets. So he's making these noises from a bedroom. Again, this is also really strange. So we got two really goth acting children, two women that are doing all this incantation work, worrying about druids falling around. Little child, brother thing. I don't know how old he was. He could have been 75. There's no less than like a drug paraphernalia around the house was just ballistic. So then we get that. That's bad enough. We go down to the basement. Okay, so the basement is a totally different story. This is where the other brother lives.
Okay.
And there's like I'm not talking about a picture of who's hot now. Like people don't put pictures of women on their walls anymore. No. Okay, I guess that's wrong, but to like looking at people, but the whole like back in the day.
I know what you're talking about.
You weren't around. So
I've been to Webb's fucking crane office.
So we had, I mean, like, not even like penthouse porn, like that would be cleaned up. I'm talking like full out European shit that you can't buy because it's illegal to bring into the country. Not like children's shit, but I'm saying like hardcore, all over the walls. Shag carpet, which is standing up pretty straight. Leave that be. We're in the room.
Oh my God.
Thousands and thousands of cassettes of porn everywhere.
Nice and crusty floors.
It was just unreal how many different levels this house is messed up. So look, we did the only appropriate thing was we left and we did our thing. We did make suggestions to certain authorities that this maybe could be looked into. Sorry, if we see things like that, it's going to be. And then we had a lawyer collect it because I told them that I think that it was an environmental thing that was affecting that house. That was a terrible, terrible story. I had been married for 19 years. That's his horror story. I've been married 4 times. But I'm very happy. I'm still friends with most of my ex-wives. This one I wasn't on. So I'm telling this one by honor of a former member.
Okay.
It is the London Cat Poo House. I guess there were several litter baskets in the home. Again, this is a case
Why
of...
so many cats?
I don't know what it is with cats. My cat is very clean. But we actually clean the litter box.
Yeah, okay.
And I put it in like an area where it can't hit other things. Right?
Yes.
It's logical.
Like most.
Like in the laundry room.
Yeah.
If it only gets into the laundry. So they went to this house and I guess they had a couple litter baskets, a couple cats, and there was kitty poo deflection. Is that the proper way of saying it? On the walls. In the main bathroom. There was only one bathroom.
Oh, Kevin.
Yeah. He's right there. I knew it. So there's in the main bathroom of the house, like, so if you have a place where there's one bathroom, not even like the shitty bathroom in the basement. Do you remember the bathroom we used to have when you grew up?
Can you take 4 seconds?
Do you remember the bathroom where you grew up? Well, you were pretty young on William Street in Pembroke. I had my own little bathroom in the basement nobody went to. It was in like a cobblestone basement.
I'm
It was about
picturing
5 feet high.
I remember our front yard, and I remember upstairs. Because
Okay.
you made me eat cereal one day, and that was the most traumatic memory I've ever had.
It was also where the ceiling collapsed on you when you were in the crib, and you got rain mud. Anyway, yeah, it does. It does take an awkward turn. My daughter is a really forceful person. She yells at me.
You just went 5,000 words per second. Even I can't do that. Okay.
It is elder abuse. You know about that. You learned about that. So, what topic was I on? Okay, so that bathroom. If it's your only bathroom, if it's like a basement bathroom,
right,
and you have a cat basket in there, you make a mess.
Sure.
Whatever. No, it's the main bathroom,
yeah.
And there's spray, and that's where you go, and your guests go, and that's like where you like take a shower.
Yeah.
Right. Gross, right? You don't let your dog poop in your bathroom.
Nope, Benji poops outside.
Right.
Benji has never shit in our house, actually, not even once. He pooped on your carpet, though.
Thanks. The Ajax car break-in house. This wasn't a horror story for us necessarily. Actually, we look like heroes because we were in doing an investigation, and if somebody was in the front yard, the driveway, smashing a window in with a crowbar.
Oh, shit.
So we went out and chased the guy down the street. We didn't catch him. He ran like.
You have the camera?
No, the cameras were in the house. So the horror story was we didn't get to put that and make it viral. That like the
investigations,
we saved the client. Yeah, that's right. We're heroes. The Lindsay, drink and don't go to sleep in a home with black flies inside, bites for weeks. I don't know how to write that down.
Were you drunk?
No.
No, were you drunk writing that?
They were drunk.
Okay.
They were drunk when we did the investigation. So it was like a house that was made of 4 houses, but they were all trailers.
Oh.
So it was like 100 feet long. And we would go do a house, do the next house, do the next house. But and they were loaded, like right off their kilter. How do I? Right. And completely loaded. And we did that investigation. And suffice it to say, their house was full of black flies on the inside, none outside. We went outside to get a break. And all right, well, we'll get those stories. I'll put you on as a guest one night. So we got black fly bites, and for some reason, all my but 10 of them got infected. So I had like these black fly bites all over my chest that got infected.
Yeah.
So I remembered that investigation for many weeks. And seeing how I wrote things down, I'm starting to get lazy because if you look at the second page, it all just got jammed together because I was getting lazy. The Hagersville freezer. So we did this investigation at an Air Force base and four houses in the same night in Hagersville. It's in the middle of winter, and there was no heat, and it was like minus 35. So we were largely in an airplane hangar, and the offices in the airplane hangar. No heat. That was just the horror story right there.
I would have cried.
Probably 6 hours. We did have one heater in one part of it, but we had like 7 of us standing around this little radiant heater. It was a funny night though. If you watch our gag reel, we used to have this member, Rob DiMinanzo, funniest shit. This guy was fantastic. And that night he ran into everything.
Like that video, yeah.
Broke his nose on like the some cabinet. It was really great. Not that he broke his nose. I mean, I guess it was great that he like broke his nose because he did it on camera.
There you go.
Right? The Ottawa Museum disaster. I'm not going to say which museum it was that we did. It cost us a bit of penny. We went and did it. This museum was, I don't know, like 1 million square feet. It was huge. It was huge. So we all got there. There's about 25 of us, which is a lot. But I mean, a museum, you can break into smaller groups.
Right.
And then when we get there, we get pulled into an office and we get told, so there's going to be a security guard and you can only be in 2 groups. So now we're in investigative teams of 13. Any investigators out there could tell you what 13 people on a team is good for. Nothing. It's like every public investigation that you do, they suck. Um, so, and then also there's no lights going down. I'm fine with that. Kind of like, it doesn't matter if it's daytime or nighttime. That's not the issue. But like, yeah, we're in a museum. We paid for this. Let's make it dark. Make it interesting. And they weren't going to turn off any of their displays. Doing an investigation while a T-Rex is behind you. Yes, you're very right, John. So well, John knows what I'm talking about. We were the sacrificial lamb that did it, so that other teams didn't have to. It's nothing like doing an EVP session when you hear, "Ah, no, I do not need to invest in a ghost box, Flavio." Watch my podcast, you know how I feel about them. So that was a disaster. Next page. Oh, the runaround. I'm not going to say what place this is in the United States, other than the fact that it is the most famous haunted place in the United States. So you could pick from a few. We traveled a day and a half to get there. And we got the expanded tour. Like Hulk Hogan has nothing on the spirits in this place. Nothing.
I think this is what I was talking about that I read.
Right. Definitely the claims are something else. And they never are ever conducive with what reality is.
For sure.
Much of the time, like with a hospital, you do a hospital, they're like, oh, they did this and this and this. Well, this is a place of healing. People did die here. But there was a positive aspect as well.
Right.
Or like going to an old folks home where they talk about the morgue where they did all the autopsies. I'm like, they didn't do autopsies in old folks' homes.
The resident walks by.
Right.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? I'm carving up Gene. So we were there. We did go through the gift shop.
Right.
Because this was our first road trip as a team. Okay. So Flavio was just trying to get me irritated. He's been watching me for years, so I figured he'd know that bastard. So we had gone through the gift shop, spent, there was 20 of us. There were 3 different teams from across the United States meeting there, and us. So of course we spent a couple G. And the gift shop. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, each person spends, $100 or whatever.
Oh, sorry. I thought you alone.
No. You grew up with me. Am I that? Do I spend like that?
It's like, Jesus.
No.
Fuck.
So we're there, and then we're there, and I just totally lost track, right? So we're done with the gift shop, right? Great. And then they get approached us. Now, I want you to realize this has already been prepaid. This is already a couple $1,000s 15 years ago. So this was prepaid on somebody's credit card. And then they say, oh, who's going to pay? What? So we're in the mid-states at this point in time from Canada. And they say, well, if you don't pay, certain people we'll leave. We'll let 5 people stay because I think that everybody else has to leave. I'm like, can't they even stay in the ready room or what? Nope, they've got to leave. Got to go back to the hotel, which was an hour away. So we all went outside and collected up $1,600 to pay these people. Then, obviously, we're not in a very good mood at this point in time. We did investigate. They went and approached the person that paid for it and asked them when they were going to pay for it. So it was already paid for it. We paid for it again, and then they go after the original person that paid for it to ask them to pay for it.
Oh my God, they must have been struggling financially. I just want to call you guys in to pay.
Question: is there something you desperately want to improve the quality of your investigations?
Staff or team?
Yeah, we did get one raccoon on the DVR, even though they said that there was no animals in the building. No. The quality of the investigations? No,
but I think we could use more team members.
We're going to have a membership drive soon. We could use some fresh blood. No, I think our investigations are fine. I think that investigations are generally always evolving. And as long as you are admitted to the fact that, you can change and be like, what did I learn from this last one? Much like we're going to stop certain ways that we do things. And it's okay that, even after 15 years, you could be like, you know what? I'm tired of doing it this way, right? Maybe in 3 weeks I'll become a medium myself, and I'll start telling tarot cards instead of investigating. Possibly. All right. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we had. Okay. So I'm not going to blame the site for this. Okay. Well, I'll say it was. We did Fort Henry.
I'm just going to take a pause. Flavio, yes, he's open-minded. Last year, he did a full skit of trying all these hooey-jooey fucking paranormal tests just to show everyone that he was willing to try them all.
I did. If you take a look at our video series, I did the witching rods. We did dowsing rods. We did a whole bunch of that kind of stuff. I tested all that, but you know, maybe so. I've told you, come on, investigation, Flavio. So we did Fort Henry. I'll give the name out right there because the site itself is fine. A lot of stuff about Fort Henry that made it a bit of a nightmare that night, though, is we did it during their Halloween haunt. So every single corner had a solenoid valve that would go off as you walked by it, so something jumped out and screamed at you. Which was unfortunate that we were doing it because it screwed everything. Also, the security guard who was giving us the walk around tripped on some cables in front of us, causing a few people to snicker. Yeah, well, I was one. And he hated us for the rest of the night. I mean, he was a douche the whole night.
Laughed right in his face.
Yeah.
Loser.
It was what it was. So, whatever. All right. I'll call it Fat Man Shits His Pants During Ghost Hunt. Dude, if somebody poops themselves during an investigation, it's staying on video. I've never pooped myself on an investigation.
You will.
I probably will. Yeah, it's probably due to happen soon. Okay, so now we're going to go for our last 4. And then we can just have open topic. Actually, we've only got 7 minutes left. So we did jail. Jesus, perfect. This is all about drinking. Doing bars is a nightmare, and I know that I've got many investigators on here. Johnny obviously would have done this a couple times too. Doing bars is a bad scene. One of the bars we did in our area here in Durham region, emptied the place out. Great. You know what? Her friends stuck around. Okay, fine. Just shut up a little bit, please. And then, of course, what do when the bar closes? They get loaded. It's awesome. It's awesome and fantastic because they're hollering and screaming and they think, woo, 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 making ghost noises. It's so cute. And then wondering, it was enough that Shan, it's my investigation, the way it goes anyway. It would have normally been up to me to say something, but she jumped ahead of me. She was like, okay, we're loading this up. See you guys. It was that bad. Then there was a certain jail that was hosting a evening of psychics and paranormal. And then all of their hoity-toity friends got loaded. Big place, okay? But the problem with the big place is you don't know where the noises are coming from. Right. Well, where it was coming from was the drunk owners and all of her friends walking up and down all the hallways, spilling wine everywhere, slamming doors, maybe getting jiggy with it in the opposing room. That's also cool. Whatever, you want to raise the energy, but I can hear it.
Yeah. I've
got audio devices. How about, we did one down in Niagara Falls, which was going to be great, except for the fact that, it was 3 of us that got together, 3 teams that got together. And I know that one of the ladies that helped organize it, one of the teams that is on with us tonight, she listens to our show. And I know she was really upset because the bar was supposed to close earlier and kick everybody out. But guess what? Yeah. They didn't. No, there was like 200 people in the building until about 3:34 in the morning. I actually went to bed because we were staying in the hotel portion.
Yeah.
I went to bed. I didn't even investigate really. I kind of did like 2 rooms and then I went to bed because I couldn't, I was on medication. You remember how sick I was back then.
Yeah.
I was sick and This was near me stopping investigating, but they didn't stop until like 4 o'clock in the morning. Then they spilled out into the street. Then there's the occasional fight that breaks out, right? So that investigation was washed. And then there was the absolute top of the heap as far as bars. Okay, the Albion Hotel. So it was like 10 years ago. We drove through a winter storm to get there. This is what we're going to end this segment on. Drive 3 hours to get there. Through Armageddon. We were in Antarctica, right? And we all have bald tires. And it's like Flintstones time. Like you're still pushing the car with your feet. Socked. So we get to this bar. And oh, I know the house you're talking about. It was an old sorry if I'm off topic. It was an old cantor. It was an old priest lived there. Anyway.
No, it's an old lady.
Yeah. No, but priests used to live there. It was I'm not involved in the church, so I don't know. It was a priest house. Okay. Yes, we'd do that in a heartbeat. Or was that the place with the boxer? See, now I'm confused.
Okay.
Thanks, Flavio.
Hold on.
You totally ruined my show. So we're at this place. We get there. It's a small town. So what do they tell the whole town? There's an investigation tonight, right? They tell us the hotel will be empty. Yes. As soon as we come in, what do we hear? No. Yep, Dan knows it. Dan's saying it. No. All fucking night. 100 times. As they get more loaded. And then you get the idiots. Well, I think you guys are fucking stupid. Do you think you see any ghosts anywhere? You know, like all that typical riffraff you're going to see at a bar. Thank you. So this hotel, it's a hotel bar. And the hotel is supposed to be empty. We were told. Mm-hmm. So we get basically to do this investigation at about 3. We're setting up equipment. At 3, we get to start. Thinking, okay, it's going good. Like one of our investigators gets scratched in the head. He starts bleeding down his face. That was Kevin. He's on here. Mm-hmm. He'll remember that. Right? And then we see our one DVR camera beginning to move. We're like, what the fuck is going on here? Right? We're going over the thing. And then it drops on the ground. We're like, that's awesome. So then we go check the DVR cameras and realize, of course that comes up on my screen, that there is somebody in the hotel and he's gone out, and we saw with our other DVR camera that he was shaking the camera around and dropped it. First off, that's our equipment. Thanks, jackass. Second, we had to wipe any evidence we had that night. Yeah, see, Kevin remembers that. So that was probably 4 examples of why we really don't do bars anymore. We have a minute, although I'm told there's no show on after our show.
No, but this ends at an hour.
Okay, so everybody, quick questions. We have like less than a minute. It's stifling.
Well, we actually had a decent amount of viewers, though.
We did.
8.
It was a good night. I want to thank you guys, and we're going to see you guys in 30 days. It'll be the...
And I will have the Phasmophobia game played. I was just transitioning between jobs, but now I actually have a life after work, so I will get that game played and try it out.
You have an awesome night. Share this around. Watch it. Thank you for being here.
Bye.
That's it. Go. Wait, go.
Bye, Cat.